Hello, I am Craig from Westcon-Comstor. I would like to take you through our BlueSky security analytics and compliance service powered by Dome9. This service was built on an innovative SaaS platform to deliver comprehensive security and compliance to your business at all times, across both the public cloud infrastructure environments. You can visualize your security posture, identify and mitigate risks and threats, and model standard policies, all to conform to security best practices on the cloud of your choice. Welcome to Dome9. When you log in, you're presented with this main dashboard. The left-hand side here is a basic timeline of what's been happening in Dome9 and highlights of events over the past few weeks. Westcon are selling Dome9 as three different modules: a network security module, a compliance engine module, and an IAM safety module. I'm going to go through a highlight of the network security module and of the compliance engine module. If you would like to have a more deeper session one-on-one, please get in touch with us at Westcon and we can arrange that. So one of the key features of network security is clarity. So just going to go through clarity now. So in clarity, you select your region and then it's displayed for you in all your VPCs. In this screen, you can see that three VPCs, A, B, and C, are linked, and we've got the default VPC off to the side. So the linkages are shown. That will means that you can do inter-VPC communications. So this VPC has two assets, so we'll click into that. Go to Security Group View. Now it takes a while to load because it is actually pulling data in real time. So we'll just wait for this to finish loading. There we go. So what you have here now is a graphical representation of your environment, your VPC. Each VPC consists of multiple security groups. Each one of these represents a single security group. The Jumpbox has a security group with one asset in it. The Prod Sandbox has another security group with another asset in it. This is best practice to have your default security group isolated with nothing in it. It's AWS best practice. Now, if I highlight the jump box, you can see the blue lines point to other objects, which means those blue highlighted security groups allow access, incoming access from the jump box security group and anything inside it. An orange line will indicate access, incoming access allowed from that various security group or IP address. So we just move to Prod Sandbox. There you go. So in this case, we can see that it's orange is internal, so it means that it allows access into the Prod Sandbox from both the Jumpbox and the entire internet. Now, Dome9 has already categorized these different areas, different security groups, into different tabs. Internal zone is obviously internal, and external is the internet, and DMZ is obviously DMZ. The other two that Dome9 have created are called partially open and effective internal. In this case, we've got our Prod Sandbox is in the effective internal grouping. What that means is that the security group has a rule that says allow internet access. And you can see that on the right hand side there. However, the asset, the server inside there, has only a private IP address, so it cannot be accessed from the internet. However, if you were to give it a public IP address, that whole security group and asset would move from effectively internal into DMZ. Now, partially open is different. It has access from the internet, but only a single IP address, which means that its security is based on at that /32 that can access it. So that's the difference. Effectively internal is open to the entire internet, but the internal assets have only a private IP address, whereas partially open means it's open to the internet, but over a restricted IP address range. Another aspect of your clarity is, if we just pop off to the tab, this is another environment. You can click on your flow logs. So flow logs are equivalent to the logs in your firewall. Security group is probably could be considered the equivalent of a firewall. So what we're seeing now is actually the results of all the rejected packets that are arriving into this security group. We can select just the last 15 minutes. So we can see that this is the location, the geolocation, or the IP address of a rejected packet. You click on the little globe icon, and to see where that rejection came from, this one, Seychelles. So when someone in the Seychelles tried to access this web server and failed because port 771 is not available. As you can see on the right hand side, it's allowable only by port 80 and port 443. You can select the accepted rules, and you can see that here it is just port 80, port 80. There's obviously some stuff coming from internal inside the AWS cloud. So you could use this to search and say, find all the IP addresses that you don't recognize and start to understand or ports that could be there to understand better the traffic that's coming into and being rejected by your web server. It's fully searchable, so you could go back and search for an IP address within the last 30 days to look up and see when it came in and what port it was trying to access. So that's Clarity. Clarity gives you a very good global graphical overview of an entire VPC and what can and can't access it. You can see things, you can see problems with it. In this case, we've got one here, the financial database. There is a rule that's not correctly set and it's left with a default any rule. So it's very easy to move that then from where in the DMZ to where it should be in the internal zone by removing a single rule. So now I'd like to take you off and show you the compliance engine, which is the highlight of the compliance module. What you have here is a number of rule sets or bundles that Dome9 have created, 10 by default. They each contain rules, business logic rules. For instance, users should have MFA enabled. So they have been written have been written by Dome9 for you to use out of the box. They are kept up to date as AWS, Azure, or Google change their best practice behavior, or HIPAA updates their framework. Dome9 do keep these up to date. If breaches happen and a rule would have an AWS rule may discover that breach, they will update that as well. However, these rules may not meet your business requirements, so you can create your own rule sets. So we'll just choose the PCI one. I'll clone it. You can then edit them by saying we can remove this rule. This rule does not meet your business requirements. So just delete that rule. And you can also create rules of your own, which do more closely align with what you need to monitor. What I like about the Dome9 rule creator is that it is quite a nice graphical engine built into it. For instance, we can do things like S3 bucket should have logging enabled. You can then do on-site test of that rule to make sure it meets your requirements. In this case, it does. You can then give it a name, give it a severity level, and save it. So, there's your new rule. Now, I didn't include much in the way of description or remediation, but it just description is basically a free text field. Remediation could be, as it is here, a link to a PDF or a document explaining how to fix that error. So, next, once you've created your rule sets, you then need to run them against your environment. So you can go to the client's dashboard. Now these are the results of the previous run I did earlier. So you get a score based on how well your rule sets fitted, or how many rules passed in your environment. In this case, we range all the way from 35% all the way up to 99%. So clicking on any one of these numbers takes you to an actual, more of an in-depth view. In this case, the top half of this window is more of an executive summary. When you scroll down further, you'll start to see all the problems that you've faced. Now, ensure hardware MFA is enabled for root account. That's a tick box. So you can go away and tick that, fix that quite easily. Password policy rotation, another tick box, another tick box. Some of these are very easy to fix. Others are more difficult. Log metrics may take a bit more effort to get some of these rules fixed. And there may be, you may have a rule here, so this one here. Ensure log metric filter for an alarm exists for CloudTrail configurations. That might be relevant to your environment, so you could go back, modify your rule set, delete that rule, and rerun things. So those are the highlights of Dome9. If you would like to get in touch with Westcon-Comstor, we can provide you with a much more detailed and targeted introduction to the software. Thank you very much, and you have a good day.